So, what initially inspired you to become an actor and a martial artist?
First was a martial artist. I grew up in Chile. My mother was a martial artist. She served in a temple in Peru, and then when she moved to Chile, she trained karate, and she was always connected with martial arts. So since I was born, I was in around this, right? But when I saw Enter the Dragon of Bruce Lee, was when everything started for me. It's like for me it was like, man, that electricity, that energy was so powerful that I was like hypnotized. From that moment, I knew that I wanted to be like that. That was something that it has so much connection with me that what I wanted to do. And that's when my journey started. I never end, and I started training and different styles and like starting all the journey with martial arts. And then life took me to Mexico, where I had the opportunity to see a friend that did a movie, a low budget video home movie. And I was like, oh, this is real. This is possible. So then I end up in LA, and that's when I met Andy Cheng, and he saw me training at the gym, and he's like, Marco, you want to do stunts? And I'm like, yeah. And then he was telling me to jump from a cliff in the movie The Rundown. I was like, really? Yes, Marco, yes. No, you can do it. It was a crazy, man. Andy Cheng is the best.
So how did you like physically prepare yourself from transitioning from like learning your martial arts to doing everything on screen where you couldn't actually do full contact? Did you find the transition difficult?
Not really, because I've been always training martial arts, but also training to control my body and overcome my limits, and like to have control at the end. The better you are, the easier it is to control yourself and to kind of hit without hurting. You know what I'm saying? So I've been training my whole life, different styles and martial arts. And the big, the first big lesson was for me when I worked with Andy Cheng in the movie The Rundown, and I saw, okay, this is how you approach martial arts in a movie, because I didn't even have an experience before. I never even seen a camera. Couple times when I was doing the acting schools in Mexico and these movies in Mexico, but really like martial arts, like a fight scene, how you approach it was with the movie with Andy Cheng in the movie The Rundown, and then I learned how to kind of do it, and then that's how I went back to Chile to do my own films like Kiltro, Mirage Man, and I did all these films with my buddy Ernesto Diaz, director, writer, and we start kind of creating our own little genre movies down there. So it was. I didn't see it hard. It was just learning this language. That it
Yeah.
was it was fun actually.
Well, your latest movie out, Fist of the Condor, it's bloody amazing.
Thank
I
you.
loved it. And I love the way it's all broken up into chapters. Ah, it's fantastic. The role though that you play seems very physically demanding. How did
Yeah.
you prepare to play the role?
Yeah, well, like I said, I've been training my whole life, and my approach for training, it's very like athleticism. Like I study athletes, and I have a coach. I have a Carlos Cardemil. He's like my coach since like I don't know, like 15 years already. It's been a long time, and he trains athletes. He actually does not train martial artists. I'm the only martial artist that he trains, right? He trains soccer players, like the guys that do the biking, like downhill and all that. Uh, so we've been training many, many years, and we kind of my approach for training is like how an athlete prepares to go to an Olympic game. Nutrition, preparation, training, loads of training, cycles of different diets, to cut, to shrink down, to develop power, to all that is put in the mix of how I prepare for a movie. Now, because of a movie, you sometimes you don't get a lot of advanced time that I did that many years, and then what I did it now I do like a more like I maintain myself on like an 80%, 90%. So whenever I got a call, I just tweak it and I'm ready to go. For the Fist of the Condor, it was very specific because I there was quarantine, so I was training in that lockdown like hours and hours and visualizing the fight scenes and like doing my nutrition and experimenting with different training and basically that's what you see in the movie. That log actually that I used to push, that's the one, the real one that I was using to train when I was in the lockdown in this little town. The wooden dummy, the same thing. That's my wooden dummy that I actually have it in Mirage Man. In that movie, I also show that's my version of the wooden of the Chinese wooden dummy, right? So for me, it's like Fist of the Condor is a very, we try to stay as much honest as we could because that was our like love letter to the genre. Like we try to bring out all what inspires us and inspires me as a martial artist, but with our view, with our culture, like the Latin American kung fu movie kind of thing, you know. So that was a pretty nice journey, you know. And of course, diet, the nutrition is very important. Training loads, like I was doing a lot of like, you know, I work on my VO max, you know, so I work with the polar, so I check my VO max and I try to keep it up there so I can do long takes, long choreographies, and repeat it and very explosive without decreasing my performance through the day. Especially in these movies where you're fighting hours and hours and hours, you need to be, you know, trained, man. If not, you're like at the hour number three fighting, you know, you cannot keep doing it. And that happens to me a couple of times with different martial artists or different people that I'm doing a fight scene and I realize, look, he only have 3 hours. Then we have to stop and we got to shoot something else. We need to continue next day. Why? Because you know he doesn't have the training to last this long in this type of movies. These type of movies are very demanding. Like same with Undisputed. I don't know if you heard Undisputed. You've seen the
Yeah.
movie Undisputed with Scott. That fighting, man, trust me, that movie was crazy. We were fighting day after day, and we're pushing ourselves. So same as Fist of the Condor. You see all the fights that we did. It's non-stop, all 10 hours a day fighting. So you gotta be ready.
Comparing it, as you just mentioned there, to Undisputed 3, would you say from Undisputed 3 up until now with Fist of the Condor, like time schedules in between movies and the demand to get the movie done quicker, would you say the time has sort of, you've lost time, so to speak? Like just say Undisputed, you would have had like 3 months to complete the movie, but with Fist of the Condor, did you have budget restrictions and all, and you had to get it done within maybe a month or two?
Yeah, of course, Fist of the Condor is a smaller movie, but we plan it very good because understanding because I'm able to get involved in the pre-production because I'm one of the producers of the movie. So when I engage and when I approach the shooting plan, I totally understand what's how many days we need to accomplish these fight scenes. So we accommodate the shooting plan and the shooting schedule for this type of movie. Sometimes they make mistakes like this in even big movies where suddenly you have this fight scene and they just dedicate only one day because, you know, it's like you're not going to do a good fight scene in a big movie in one day. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
So that's why John Wick is John Wick because you have Chad Stahelski that is like the master at action martial art films. You know, like he's a martial he was a stuntman. He understands the process, and that's why John Wick is a franchise that everybody just cannot get. They don't get tired of it. They just want more and more and more, and the movie is just an amazing. Is because you approach the production from a different if from a different place, you know.
Speaking of John Wick 4, I have to ask, how did you get involved in that? Because seeing you in John Wick 4 was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, well, you know, was uh, life, man. You know, I did this movie Fist of the Condor, and I showed the trailer to my friend JJ Perry, and then I think he sent it to Chad. Or the thing is, after I sent the Fist of the Condor to JJ Perry, JJ is like, Marko meet Chad, Chad meet Marko. I'm like, oh, and then you know what I'm saying? I was like, my head just exploded in that moment, and I was so honored to receive that call and to be part of John Wick, man. That was an amazing experience, man. Just an amazing experience.
And it's a good way for like more fans and new fans to discover, for instance, yourself and the likes of Scott Adkins. So, and then it'll be even fun to realize when they're like, these boys were in a movie together.
Yeah, yeah, man. Scott is the best, man. Scott is the best, man. Always, he did such a good job with Killa, man. His character, he's the best, man.
It was a change of pace for his usual sort of characters, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, man. For me too. Like for me, it was a good challenge. It was a nice challenge. To bring that character, make it interesting against all these other characters. And every character was so cool, and I love about that movie that every character has a story and has and you engage with each character, and that's not an easy thing to do. So
Yeah.
that's a very good accomplishment from Chad. That he was not afraid to dedicate time to the characters in the movie. You
Yeah.
know, and
They just
and
weren't
and
cheap cameos.
yeah, yeah, man. I really feel that he really like he killed it with that, man. The movie is very engaging, and that's why at the end you kind of feel for the like it's engaging movie, and it's an amazing action at the same time. It's just I will say the best action movie ever made in the last decade, or I don't even remember what movie now, like maybe Matrix. Yes, Matrix is something that of course it blowed our mind, but it's kind of in the same level, like I'll say.
And you touched upon the ending of John Wick there, which sort of brings me back to the ending of The Fist of the Condor. It kind of leaves it open for a sequel. Is this a movie you sort of plan to follow up on down the line?
Totally, totally. I think there's so much story to tell here with the two brothers and this world, and we already have some lines to continue the story, and it just depends on you guys and the support and the love, and share the movie and try to see it on the traditional way, on the correct way, and not the dark side way. Because at the end it's like at the end, if the distributors they see that there's an interest of people wanting to see the movie, they'll just go, okay, let's continue. But that's the only way for them to see that this is working, is that they see that the demand of people. And this is a very simple thing. It's like, I don't care how big the movie becomes if everybody downloads the movie. Everybody can go, oh, I love your movie, I love your movie. But if you download it, then that's
It
the
doesn't.
circle is broken. And then the problem is that we cannot continue the story. And it's very common. It sounds like obvious, but don't get me wrong. People that love this type of movies, they download these movies. And they're hurting themselves, because if they love these movies, they're doing exactly what you need to do for these movies not to exist. Because our only way to make these movies is for the movies to kind of like create this circle
Yeah.
of the cash flow for the distributors, and they go, oh, there's an interest. There's no way to track if the movie is good, or people like it, if they download it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's something very, very important, man. and
Especially on
and
the budget these movies are sort of filmed on. It's not like the Fast and Furious budget, these are just small independent movies that these are the movies that fans need to get behind if they want to see more of.
Exactly, and the thing is, Fast and the Furious, these big movies, they do the main of their profits in the first 2 weeks
Yeah.
on the theaters. If you look at the box office, the movies they spend 100 million, and by week number two, they're already in 300 million. So they recover their money already, and maybe what they do in DVD is like maybe like a I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, but is not relevant compared to the tickets,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But in this type of movies, all we got is the DVD, Blu-ray, and the streaming. You see that we don't have the theater, we don't have that big box office income, you know.
Well, you can definitely count on me buying the Blu-ray when it hits shelves.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and we'll do specials, and man, we want to do a comic book. We want to do number two. We want to really expand this universe and give more and bring interesting characters and bring different martial artists from around the world, to the story. And that's kind of my goal as a martial artist. I would love to invite different martial artists, different styles, to exchange knowledge and create this beautiful and continue this beautiful story.
The vibe I get off the movie is throughout the movie, without trying to spoil anything, your character goes through sort of these mini bosses, so to speak, and these mini battles, and it reminds me of like an expanded version of Bruce Lee's original idea for the game of death. You know the way it was he tackles a floor each time.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
could see this story taken the same sort of way. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, because at the end, the way that I see it is, at the end, the warrior possess this book, and this ancient martial arts secret that, so every martial artist from around the world is interested in this. So I could see people coming and different styles trying to challenge and learn from this warrior and trying to get the hands on the book. So there's a lot of stories that we can build through there. So I think it's like it's beautiful to see, maybe to bring like a very traditional style, like maybe like a taekwondo Olympic fighter,
Yeah.
or like a karate Kyokushin Kai karate traditional guy, like boom, and then you see the styles, the beauty of each style fighting and dancing with this warrior, you see. And at the end, it's like how you learn from each battle. That's kind of the whole thing.
How do you plan to shoot the big final fight, which would be brother versus brother, sort of you versus you? How do you plan to shoot that?
Well, we gotta see. It depends. We still need to finish writing the script, and yeah, but that's gonna be a good challenge. That's gonna be a good challenge because I wanted to make it very unique, and I wanna see the personality of these two characters in that fight scene. So it's gonna be interesting.
Before we wrap, one of my favorite movies that you shot was Redeemer, and we never got a sequel to it. It was such an amazing movie. Is there plans in the pipeline for a sequel, or has that what sadly sailed?
Well, we always thought about it. It could happen. It could happen. It's all about timing, and who knows. But it's something that I would love to do. I love that character. I love that story too. I really like that movie though.
And then before we wrap, what can we expect to see you in after Fist of the Condor?
What do you mean after the
Like
second one?
after it's released, will you have anything out this year that we can look forward to seeing
Ah,
you in?
I'm right now in that process. I don't know yet, but there are some projects that are cooking. So I have some more news for you guys soon. But definitely I'm training, really hard, man. I'm ready. I'm tidying it up a little bit. I'm like tweaking it to be in that 100% shape, ready to explode. So it's gonna be fun. I'm sure you guys are gonna know soon. I did another movie that is haven't come out yet. The name is Fight or Flight, but they haven't released much information about it, so I cannot tell you much. But that's a movie that I already did another movie that is gonna come up soon, hopefully. So yeah, man, it's gonna be exciting.
Like, well, I look forward to seeing you in anything you're in, really, man, because Fist of the Condor, it's a badass, old school martial arts movie, but it's sort of reinvented to fit in today's age, and it's definitely worth belting out 5 stars for.
Thank you, man. Man, I really appreciate support, man.
Okay, anytime, Marco. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
Uh,
it.
no worries. Hopefully, Fist of the Condors has a successful release for you, and we can see a
Yeah.
sequel and a comic book.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I can show you something. Look, let me see if I find it really quick. Just to give you a little tease. Let me see. Look here. This is a little tease. Don't tell anybody, but no, yeah. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh wow, that looks amazing.
Yeah, yeah. We're doing some samples. We're doing some look.
That's unreal.
Yeah, man. So we're excited. We want to bring you guys the comic book. So show some love, and I promise I'm gonna work hard to make all happen.
And I'm gonna do my best to promote it. So fingers crossed we get somewhere.
Awesome.
Take care, Marco.
Okay, my friend.
See you later.